Whispering Woods. A bedtime story. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest far, far away, the sky was painted with soft pinks and golden oranges. The sun was slowly setting, casting a warm glow across the treetops. The air was cool and quiet, and everything seemed to slow down. Beneath an old oak tree, a little rabbit named Oliver poked his head out of his burrow. His fur was soft and gray, and his long ears twitched as he listened to the sounds of the forest. Rustle, rustle, chirp, chirp. The trees whispered in the evening breeze, and the birds were singing their final songs before sleep. Oliver stepped outside and took a deep breath. He loved this time of day. Everything felt safe, gentle, and calm. He hopped through the soft grass, stopping to nibble on a sweet clover leaf before looking up at the sky. The first stars were starting to appear. Up in the branches of a tall pine tree, a squirrel named Willow was settling into her nest. She curled her fluffy tail around her body and yawned. Her nest was made of dry leaves, bits of moss, and little feathers she had found during the day. Willow whispered, "Good night, sky. Good night, stars," and closed her eyes, letting the soft wind rock her to sleep. A little farther away, near the edge of a quiet stream, a fox named Luna was gently cleaning her paws. She had spent the day playing with her younger brother, and now it was time to rest. She stretched her legs and curled into a warm ball of soft fur under a low bush. The stream bubbled gently beside her, its water sparkling under the moonlight. In a cozy den beneath the ground, a hedgehog named Henry was getting ready for bed too. He had just finished his evening walk and was now slowly munching on a juicy berry he had found under a bush. After finishing his treat, Henry tucked himself into a soft pile of leaves and let out a small sigh of happiness. All across the forest, the animals were preparing for sleep. Even the wind was quieter now, and the trees swayed gently in the darkening light. Fireflies began to appear, their tiny golden lights blinking in the shadows. High above, an old owl named Sage opened one eye and looked around. He perched on a sturdy branch, watching over the forest like he always did. Sage didn't sleep at night like the others. He stayed awake, keeping the forest safe and peaceful. He let out a soft hoot. Hoo-hoo. It was a lullaby, a goodnight song for all the sleepy creatures below. Oliver the rabbit stretched his legs, yawned a big, fluffy yawn, and lay down beside a patch of soft moss. His eyes blinked slowly as he looked up at the stars. They twinkled gently above the treetops, just like tiny candles in the sky. The forest was calm. The air was cool. Everything was ready for sleep. And so, with the stars shining above, the moon smiling down, and the wind humming a gentle tune, the animals of the forest drifted into peaceful dreams. Oliver's breathing slowed as he curled into a little ball. His soft nose twitched one last time, and then he was still. A gentle snore, barely louder than a whisper, came from his tiny mouth. Not far from Oliver's burrow, hidden beneath a bed of wildflowers, a family of mice was finishing their bedtime routine. The littlest mouse, named Millie, was snuggled beside her brothers and sisters, wrapped in a soft petal blanket. Their mother gently patted each of them on the head, her voice as soft as the wind. "Good night, my darlings," she said. "May you dream of cheese castles and sunflower fields." Millie giggled sleepily, her eyes already half closed. Up in the sky, the moon rose higher, casting a silver glow over the forest floor. It touched the tops of the trees, the rippling stream, and even the tip of Oliver's twitching ears. Everything shimmered in moonlight. In the middle of a small pond, a family of ducks floated quietly, their heads tucked under their wings. The water rocked them gently, like a cradle. Each duckling was safe and warm beside their mother, who hummed softly in her sleep. Farther down the stream, a gentle deer named Faye stood beneath a willow tree. Her eyes were calm, her movements graceful. She took a last sip of water from the stream, then walked slowly to a patch of soft grass. There, beneath the swaying branches, she knelt down and rested her head. Faye listened to the forest sounds, the crickets chirping, the leaves rustling, and the soft bubbling of water nearby. She closed her eyes and let her thoughts float away like clouds. Deep in the forest, nestled between two mossy rocks, A sleepy toad named Timothy croaked one final time before tucking himself into the mud. He had spent his day hopping through puddles and singing in the rain. Now it was time to rest. The stars above twinkled brighter now, watching over the sleepy creatures below. Everything in the forest had slowed to a peaceful hush. The fireflies danced gently through the trees, lighting the way for anyone still wandering home. Their tiny lights blinked slowly, like the rhythm of a lullaby. They floated past ferns, over roots, and around the sleeping animals, as if sprinkling dreams into the air. In the distance, a gentle wind moved through the pines, making them sigh and sway like they were breathing. The forest, too, was falling asleep. And as the night deepened, the world became softer, quieter, and more still, a place of dreams, warmth, and peace. Beneath a tall spruce tree, a raccoon named Remy was slowly blinking, fighting sleep. He had been watching the stars, counting them one by one, but now his eyes were heavy. 1, 2, 300, he whispered, then yawned so wide that even his little paws stretched. He curled up on a bed of soft moss and leaves, pulling his striped tail close like a blanket. The stars could wait until tomorrow night. Nearby, in a hollow tree, a family of owlets nestled close to their mother. Though owls stayed awake at night, these tiny babies were still too young. They chirped softly in their sleep, dreaming of flying high above the forest one day. Their mother, the wise owl named Sage, kept watch from the branch above. His golden eyes scanned the peaceful woods, and then he blinked slowly, letting the silence wrap around him like fog. Across the stream, in a grove filled with sweet-smelling flowers, a gentle breeze rustled the petals. Petals danced through the air and landed gently on the back of a sleepy badger named Bella. She lifted her nose slightly, sniffed the night air, and smiled. Her den was quiet and dark, filled with the softest dried grasses. Bella had spent her day digging, collecting roots, and watching the clouds pass. Now she was still, listening to the song of the wind and letting it lull her into dreams. Even the insects had slowed. The buzzing bees were long tucked into their hive, and the butterflies had folded their wings under broad leaves. Crickets played their nighttime songs softly, like tiny violins humming in the grass. The entire forest had become a lullaby. A distant waterfall whispered over stones, a sound so steady and smooth it seemed like a voice from a dream. It told stories of old trees, of gentle rain, of sunlit mornings and starry nights. Back at his burrow, Oliver the rabbit stirred for a moment. He opened one eye, then the other. He saw the stars above, the fireflies drifting lazily by, and the sleeping forest all around him. He smiled. I love the night, he thought. I love the quiet. I love the way everything feels safe. He closed his eyes again, this time more deeply. His breath was slow. His heart was calm. And just like the wind, just like the trees, just like the stars, Oliver drifted into the softest sleep. The hours passed gently, like clouds floating across a silent sky. The moon moved higher and higher, casting a silver glow on the sleeping forest. Everything remained still, wrapped in a quiet that felt like magic. In the branches above Oliver's burrow, a family of songbirds huddled together. They were small and round, their feathers fluffed up to keep warm. Even in sleep, they made soft peeping sounds, like little dreams escaping into the air. One of the younger birds, named Pip, twitched in his sleep. In his dream, he was flying high above the forest, his tiny wings strong and sure. He dipped through the trees and soared through moonbeams, smiling in his dream as the stars sparkled beside him. Across a narrow clearing, a turtle named Tilda had found a soft patch of moss. She slowly tucked her legs and head into her shell, the world becoming dark and cozy around her. Her dreams were slow and peaceful, of sunshine on rocks, of lilies blooming in the pond, and the warmth of her favorite sunspot. Not far from her, in a quiet nest on the ground, a group of baby quails slept side by side. Their mother had fluffed her wings around them, forming a soft wall of feathers. Their tiny beaks barely moved as they breathed in and out, their dreams filled with fields of tall grass and soft summer winds. The forest now glowed only by moonlight and the flickering lights of the fireflies. There was no rush, No sound louder than a breath, no worry, and no time, just peace. High above, the stars continued their slow dance across the night sky. Some twinkled gently, others held steady like tiny lanterns. They watched over the forest, like quiet guardians of the sleeping world below. Beneath a twisted willow tree, a young fox cub named Finn was curled up beside his sister. Their tails covered their noses, and their chests rose and fell together in perfect rhythm. Their dreams were wild and beautiful, chasing butterflies through meadows, leaping over fallen logs, and rolling in soft, sun-warmed grass. A soft fog began to creep across the forest floor. It wrapped around the roots and rocks like a blanket, gentle and cool. It whispered softly against the leaves and hushed the wind even more. The waterfall in the distance continued its soft song, steady and slow. It was the heartbeat of the forest, never rushing, never stopping. Everything was still. And just when it seemed that the world could not grow any quieter, the clouds parted slightly, and a beam of moonlight fell directly on Oliver's burrow. His ears twitched, but he did not wake. He was dreaming now, of running through flower fields, of gentle rain falling on his fur, of being held by the earth, safe, warm, and loved. He didn't need to move. He didn't need to speak. The night was doing all the work, and Oliver simply slept and dreamed. As Oliver dreamed, so did the forest. Deep in the earth, the roots of ancient trees hummed with quiet energy, slow, steady, peaceful. They stretched beneath the soil like gentle arms, cradling the land and all the creatures sleeping above. The trees themselves swayed gently in the still night air. Their leaves whispered soft secrets to each other. Stories passed from one branch to the next, stories only told when the world was asleep. "Tonight is calm," the trees said. "The stars are bright. The little ones are dreaming. All is well." Even the stars seemed to listen. They blinked slowly, sending soft beams of light down to touch the forest floor, like tiny goodnight kisses from the sky. Far away, in a tree covered with soft moss and hanging vines, a small family of koalas clung to the branches. They lived quietly on the edge of the forest, where the trees grew thick and tall. One baby koala, named Kip, nuzzled close to his mother, wrapping his tiny arms around her. His eyelids drooped, and with one last deep breath, he fell into a dream of tall trees, glowing moons, and slow, happy climbs into the sky. Nearby, a family of beavers slept soundly inside their wooden lodge by the stream. Their home, built with care, was strong and warm. The sound of water flowing gently around them made a perfect bedtime lullaby. The youngest beaver, Benny, dreamed of swimming through sparkling waters, his tail splashing behind him like a paddle. Even the insects had quieted now. The crickets sang only in soft whispers. The fireflies floated slowly, blinking less often. The forest had become like a single breath, in and out, still and peaceful. In his burrow, Oliver twitched again, deeper into his dreams. Now, he was dreaming of a glade filled with glowing mushrooms. The air was sweet with flowers, and gentle lights floated through the sky like bubbles. Around him, all his forest friends were there: Willow the squirrel, Theo the bear cub, Luna the fox, Fay the deer, and even little Millie the mouse. They laughed together in the dream, chasing sparkles through the soft grass. No one was in a hurry. No one needed to speak. Everything just felt right. In this dream world, the stars were close enough to touch. The trees glowed from within. The moon smiled down like an old friend. It was a place where time stood still, where every breath was full of comfort, and every heartbeat was soft as a feather. Oliver felt light as a cloud. Safe. Warm. Home. And though he was asleep, deep in the Real Forest, he smiled. Because even in dreams, the forest stayed with him, holding him gently, like a lullaby made of trees and stars. And so the night continued. Quiet. Kind. Endless. As the forest held its deep, peaceful silence, the night sky shifted ever so slowly. The moon, round and glowing, began its gentle descent, casting long silver shadows through the trees. Stars faded, one by one, their soft twinkle dimming like candles after a long, gentle night. But still, the forest slept. Under a thick blanket of ferns, a pair of sleepy frogs nestled close, their bellies rising and falling in unison. One of them, named Felix, dreamed of lily pads as big as boats, of dancing in warm summer rain, and of singing under a sky full of stars. His tiny mouth curved into a sleepy smile, his body still and relaxed. Near the edge of the forest, where the tall grass swayed like ocean waves, a quiet family of deer rested in a shallow nest of leaves. Their ears twitched now and then, listening to the breeze, but their eyes stayed closed. Their dreams were soft and gentle, of morning mist, wildflowers, and silent walks through endless meadows. The trees, older than time, stood strong and still, guarding the forest like gentle giants. They whispered only to the wind, their wooden limbs moving in slow rhythm, like breathing. Above, the first hints of dawn began to rise beyond the hills, not light yet, just the softest blue pressing against the black of night. Oliver, still curled in his cozy burrow, breathed deeply. His chest rose and fell with ease, his dreams now shifting to a place even quieter, a dream within a dream, where everything was light and gentle. He floated above the forest, flying with owls, touching starlight, and resting on clouds made of moss. And the forest dreamed with him. Even Sage the owl, watching from his high perch, began to close his eyes. He had kept watch all night, as he always did. But now, as the first birds prepared to sing and the edge of the world glowed with early morning light, it was his turn to sleep. He tucked his head under one wing and let himself rest, safe in the knowledge that the forest would wake slowly, kindly, and gently. The fireflies blinked their last goodnights and drifted into the shadows. The stars bowed out, fading behind the coming day. And every creature, big and small, remained still, savoring the last precious moments of night. For in this forest, sleep was sacred. Peace was the language. And dreams were a gift shared by all. The world turned softly. The sky lightened slowly. And the forest, the beautiful, whispering forest, rested just a little longer. And so, as the first golden threads of sunlight reached the tallest treetops, the forest remained wrapped in stillness. It was a special moment, that space between night and day, where dreams still linger and the earth takes a quiet breath. The air was cool and sweet, filled with the scent of pine, moss, and the dew settling over the leaves. The wind had paused, as if not wanting to disturb the last sighs of sleep. One by one, the stars vanished into the brightening sky, leaving only the soft glow of morning behind. The moon, pale now and growing dim, dipped low behind the hills, saying its final goodbye before daybreak. In the quiet burrow under the oak tree, Oliver shifted gently in his sleep. His ears twitched once, and his nose gave a soft wiggle, but he did not wake. He was resting deeply, still floating through the warm, soft space of his dreams. In his dream, he wandered through a field filled with wildflowers. The petals brushed his fur like tiny feathers. Birds flew beside him, and a gentle voice, maybe the wind, maybe the trees, hummed a melody that made his heart feel full and light. All around him, his forest friends dreamed too. Theo the bear cub lay nestled against his mother, the slow rhythm of their breath perfectly matched. In his dreams, Theo was dancing among the stars, chasing comets with soft paws and laughing under a velvet sky. Willow the squirrel dreamed of tree branches that reached all the way to the clouds. She leapt and glided between them, weightless and free, the wind carrying her like a leaf in the air. Even the tiniest creatures, hidden under rocks or curled within flowers, were held gently in the arms of sleep. The forest was cradled in silence, like a lullaby with no end. A golden light slowly touched the pond, waking the surface into a soft shimmer. But the ducks slept still, their bodies barely moving on the calm water, drifting in circles that made no sound. The gentle waterfall continued to whisper, the sound unchanged by night or day. It was always there, a promise of peace, of rhythm, of time flowing gently on. And then, far in the distance, the first bird sang. Just one note. Soft and high, like a bell made of sunlight. Then another followed. and another, until the whole forest slowly began to stir. But not Oliver. Not yet. He was still deep in his dream, lying beneath a sky filled with colors, surrounded by his friends, by quiet, by peace. The dream would stay with him, as dreams always do when they're made of forests, and moonlight, and stars. And even as the day began to rise, even as the world stretched and yawned and blinked its eyes open, a part of the forest remained asleep, still dreaming, still glowing, still resting, just like you. And so, as sunlight gently kissed the treetops and spilled over the forest floor, not everything awakened. Some hearts, like Oliver's, were still wrapped in the softness of night, breathing slow, safe, and deep beneath layers of moss and dreams. There was no need to rush. The forest understood. It knew that waking could wait, that peace was not something to hurry through, that sometimes, the most important thing was to simply rest. And so the forest stayed quiet a little longer, honoring the dreams of every small creature curled in their cozy homes, under bark, beneath leaves, between stones, or in nests of feather and fur. The breeze returned, but it was slow and warm now, brushing gently through the grass, as if it, too, was stretching after a long and perfect sleep. The leaves rustled with a sleepy sigh. The stream hummed its morning tune. And far above, in a sky now turning soft blue, the last of the night faded away. But still, in the hidden places, under roots and within soft earth, the forest dreamt on. Oliver remained curled in his burrow, his breathing calm, his thoughts still far away. He would wake when it was time, not before. And when he did, the forest would be waiting, gentle and green, full of light and promise. But for now, in this moment, in this perfect, golden stillness, the forest held its breath, wrapped in quiet and calm. The soft light filtered gently through the leaves, touching every branch, every blade of grass, and even the tiniest flowers sleeping beneath the trees. Oliver lay still, wrapped in dreams, his heart steady and peaceful, as the world around him waited patiently. Above, the stars faded slowly, making way for the first hints of morning light. The moon smiled softly, its glow a gentle promise of a new day soon to come. The trees stood tall and silent, guardians of the forest's secrets and dreams. A soft breeze moved through their leaves, whispering lullabies only the forest could understand. And deep in the earth, the roots held steady, cradling the forest's soul with quiet strength. Everything was still. Everything was safe. In this perfect moment, before the dawn, before the waking, peace wrapped the forest like a soft, warm blanket. And here, in this space between night and day, Oliver and all the creatures of the Whispering Woods rested deeply, held gently by the quiet magic of the forest. The gentle hush of the forest seemed to stretch endlessly, as if time itself had slowed to a soft, soothing rhythm. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers. Every leaf, every twig, every stone rested quietly, bathed in the tender light. Far above, the first birds began to stir, their soft songs weaving through the branches like a delicate melody. But deep within the forest, beneath the shelter of ancient trees, the world remained wrapped in peaceful slumber. Oliver's breathing was slow and steady, his dreams filled with fields of wildflowers, warm sunlight, and gentle friends. Nearby, Willow the squirrel curled up in her nest, her fluffy tail wrapped around her like a blanket. Theo the bear cub lay beside his mother, his small chest rising and falling with quiet ease. The stars had almost vanished now, but their soft glow lingered in the memories of the night. The Whispering Woods held its breath a little longer, cradling all its creatures in a moment of calm and rest. Even the stream, which usually danced over smooth stones with cheerful chatter, moved more slowly now, as if it, too, was honoring the stillness. Its waters shimmered softly in the dim morning light, reflecting the fading stars and the gentle curve of the sky. Fireflies, their glow now faint in the coming day, drifted low near the ground before quietly disappearing into the shadows. Their night's work was done, and they left behind a trail of peace that lingered in the hush of the trees. Somewhere deep in the thicket, Luna the fox stretched slowly in her sleep, her dreams filled with quiet paths and moonlit meadows. She stirred just enough to shift her position, then returned to her dream without a sound. Tiny insects nestled beneath bark and leaf remained still, their delicate wings folded, their thoughts quiet. Even the breeze tiptoed between the trees, not yet ready to announce the day. It was a sacred time. This in between, this golden silence. The forest knew to wait, to hold, to listen, to protect the last precious moments of the night's soft dream. And Oliver, curled in his little burrow under the great oak, dreamed on, untouched by time, held by earth, surrounded by stillness. The forest would wake soon, but not yet, not now. Now, it dreamed too. High above, thin clouds moved lazily across the pale sky, barely shifting in the soft breeze. They glowed faintly with the earliest blush of morning. Not bright, not sharp, just the quiet suggestion of a new beginning. The branches overhead formed a gentle canopy, filtering the growing light into soft, golden threads. They swayed in slow motion, whispering softly to one another, passing along the stillness like a secret. Far below, in the folds of moss and soil, beetles rested in tiny chambers, spiders slept tucked safely within webs, and caterpillars clung to the underside of leaves, unmoving, dreaming in their own quiet ways. Every part of the forest had surrendered to rest. And the forest itself, the soul of the woods, felt it too. A calm that sank into roots and bark and breath. Even the birds, now blinking open their eyes, did not yet sing. They waited, patient, knowing the world would rise as it always did. The sun would climb. The warmth would come. But now, in this breath, everything remained exactly as it was meant to be. Still, slow, perfect. And deep in his burrow, wrapped in dreams that were soft as sunlight and wide as sky, Oliver slept on. Not alone. Not forgotten. But watched over by the trees, by the stars that had slipped away, and by the quiet heart of the whispering woods. The light grew gently, almost shyly, touching the highest branches first, where dew still clung like tiny jewels. A golden shimmer spread slowly downward, leaf by leaf, never rushing, never pushing. The forest greeted the morning not with noise or motion, but with stillness and grace. A single petal drifted to the ground, loosened by the weight of night's moisture, and landed beside Oliver's burrow. It stirred no one. Even the grasses bowed their heads, heavy with dew, as if in reverence to the quiet that still lingered. The animals continued to rest in this tender moment. Faye the deer still nestled in the tall grass, her ears flicking only slightly. Timothy the toad lay curled in the cool mud, a soft bubble rising and falling with each slow breath. The forest's heart beat gently, not loud, not fast, just steady, a pulse of peace. No voices called, no wings flapped, no paws hurried, because the forest knew there is no need to rush what is sacred, and morning, when it is met with stillness, becomes something holy. So it waited, so it watched, so it listened, and deep beneath the oak tree, Oliver, cradled by soil and root and moss, smiled in his sleep. The forest smiled, too. A faint warmth began to rise from the forest floor, not yet heat, but the soft promise of the sun. It drifted through the roots and rocks, through the burrows and dens, like a sigh from the earth itself. In that warmth, dreams deepened. Oliver shifted slightly, his nose twitching, but he did not wake. He was far away now, in a dream where the sky was always dusk, and the stars were close enough to hold. He hopped across clouds made of clover, played hide-and-seek among golden leaves, and floated downstream on a lily-pad raft. His friends beside him, laughing softly. Everywhere he turned in this dream world, there was peace. No loud sounds, no sharp edges, no hurry, only softness, only stillness, only light. And far away, not in the dream, but in the waking world, The forest waited. The birds perched silently in the trees, their song still caught in their throats. Knowing this moment was not yet meant to be broken, the breeze paused between branches. The stream flowed in slow motion. Even the sun, though rising, moved gently, as if careful not to wake the dreaming woods. And the trees stood tall, not as giants, but as guardians, watching over every creature, every breath, every beat of every sleeping heart. The whispering woods did not rush the day. It never had. It never would. It simply waited. Because it knew. Some dreams are meant to be lived a little longer. The light crept deeper now, brushing the forest floor with golden fingertips. It lit the edges of fallen leaves, cast long, dappled shadows, and warmed the bark of ancient trees. Yet still, the hush held. A thin mist curled through the undergrowth, rising slowly from the damp earth. It glowed in the morning light, soft and silver, like breath made visible. It drifted around stones and roots, weaving between ferns, wrapping the forest in a veil of stillness. Deep in his burrow, Oliver's breathing matched the rhythm of the land, slow, even, effortless. The dream held him gently, like a nest woven from light and memory. In it, the forest had no end. The trees stretched to the stars. The stream carried songs instead of water. The sky was wide and kind. His friends were near, walking beside him in the dream. Not saying a word, but smiling with their eyes. Nothing needed to be spoken. Everything was understood. Back in the waking world, a soft sound stirred the silence. The first drop of dew falling from a leaf and landing with a tiny tap on a stone. It was barely a sound, but it marked the slow turning of time. The forest listened. A branch creaked gently in the breeze. The wings of a moth fluttered once, then stilled. A leaf turned in the air, spiraled downward, and came to rest on the moss. Still, the creatures of the forest remained in their slumber. Not out of sleepiness, but because the world was still holding space for the dream. There would be time for waking, time for sunlight and songs, time for movement and play. But not yet. Now was the moment between moments, where dreams breathe, where hearts heal, and where the forest remembers how to be still. The mist drifted slowly past Oliver's burrow, curling at its entrance like a visitor who didn't want to knock. It carried with it the scent of damp moss, wild violets, and cool stone, soft notes that filled the air like an unspoken lullaby. Within his dream, Oliver wandered deeper into a forest that shimmered with light, not the sun's bright light, but something softer, something older. It glowed from within the trees, glistened in the air, and danced on the surface of the water. It felt familiar. It felt like home. The ground beneath his paws was warm and spongy, the kind of earth that remembered 1,000 seasons. Above him, fireflies floated in slow spirals, not blinking now, but glowing steadily, like tiny stars that had chosen to stay close to the ground. His friends walked silently behind him, their footsteps making no sound. They, too, were wrapped in wonder. Luna with her quiet smile, Willow wide-eyed and alert, Theo humming softly to himself as he waddled along. And as they moved through the dream forest, they came to a small clearing, where a pool of perfectly still water reflected the sky above, even though, in the dream, there were no clouds. Only light. Oliver stepped to the edge and looked into the water. What he saw wasn't his reflection. He saw the forest as it truly was, not just trees and grass and animals, but something deeper. He saw every heartbeat, every breath, every memory the forest had ever held, softly glowing beneath the surface like constellations in the earth. He smiled, not out of surprise, but because he understood. The forest wasn't something he walked through. It was part of him. And he was part of it. Always had been. Always would be. Back in the waking world, the light grew stronger still, gold now, reaching into the deepest corners of the woods. But the forest held the hush. One more breath. One more heartbeat. One more moment of dream. Because some mornings are not for waking. Some are for remembering. And the forest remembered everything. The clearing in the dream felt timeless, as if no moment had ever ended there, only folded gently into the next. Oliver stood at the edge of the still pool, watching the quiet shimmer beneath its surface. He didn't speak, didn't move. He simply listened. And in that silence, he heard the forest's voice, not loud, not made of words, but soft and slow, like wind through pine needles or the distant echo of water dripping from stone. It didn't ask anything of him. It only said, "You are safe. You belong. Rest as long as you need." Behind him, the others gathered in a circle without a sound. Luna lay down first, her bushy tail curling beside her like a warm scarf. Willow nestled beside her, paws tucked beneath her chest. Theo rumbled softly, lying on his back with one paw resting over his belly. Oliver took one last look at the glowing pool, then turned and joined them, settling into the soft moss at the center of the clearing. Above, the trees arched high like a great cathedral, their branches woven together with morning light and memory. The dream sky glowed in gentle golds and blues, endless, open, safe. The air felt full but light, like something sacred was being held. None of them spoke. They didn't need to, because the forest dreamed with them. And in this shared dream, where everything was quiet and kind, they all understood the same simple truth. This place wasn't just part of the night. It wasn't just a dream. It was always here, behind every leaf, beneath every root. Waiting. Waiting to offer stillness. Waiting to offer breath. Waiting to offer peace. The dream deepened yet grew lighter, as if each breath made the forest more transparent, more golden, more at peace. Oliver rested now, fully still. His eyes closed not from sleep, but from something gentler, like a leaf folding at dusk, or a flame settling into its glow. All around him, his friends had done the same. No words, no movement, no need for anything. Only breath. Only being. Above the clearing, the trees stood in perfect stillness. Their leaves shimmered not from wind, but from memory, each one holding a moment of joy, a sigh of rest, a heartbeat of quiet wonder. And the air itself seemed alive with something soft. Not music exactly, but not silence either. A kind of humming, low and round, the sound of belonging. The sound of something ancient and kind. From the far edges of the dream, soft shapes moved. A deer, stepping silently between shafts of light. A butterfly, drifting without direction. A turtle, moving so slowly it seemed not to move at all. They came not to interrupt, but to join. As if the forest had opened its arms just a little wider, gathering all who needed to rest, to breathe, to be held. And in the middle of it all, Oliver's chest rose and fell, slow and light, as if the dream itself were breathing through him. Time had no meaning here. Morning, night, all of it melted into something simpler, something whole. And the forest, still watching, still holding, whispered, "Stay as long as you like. You are safe here. You are never alone." The light within the dream clearing softened even further, as if the forest itself was lowering its voice to a whisper, the kind of whisper that doesn't need to be heard with ears, only felt with the heart. Everything had slowed. Even thought. Even time. The trees breathed with them now, great, slow sighs of life that pulsed through the roots and into the mossy ground. Each inhale was like drawing in the warmth of the earth, each exhale a quiet letting go of anything heavy. Oliver didn't think about where he was. He didn't need to. He was simply here. Here, where the dream had become more than a dream. A place without edges. Without rules. Without noise. Only rest. Only peace. Only now. His friends lay around him like stars scattered in a circle, each one shining in their own quiet way, each one carried by the same soft current that moved through the forest. No one stirred. No one needed to. Because nothing in this place asked them to be anything but what they were. Still. Safe. Together. And as the dream deepened into silence so complete it felt like a warm blanket lay gently over the heart. The forest whispered one last time, low and clear. "You are part of this stillness. You belong to this quiet. And it belongs to you. Somewhere above the treetops, the sun had fully risen. But down in the heart of the forest, time had folded into itself. And the dream held fast. Oliver remained nestled in the moss. His breath barely more than a breeze. His body light, as if sleep had made him part of the earth itself. All around him, the stillness grew richer, not heavy, not dark, but full, like a forest after fresh rain. Alive with quiet. Alive with peace. A single leaf drifted down from the tallest branch, spiraling slowly through the air. It landed beside Oliver's paw and didn't move again. Even the smallest things knew this moment was not to be disturbed. No voice called. No sound intruded. The hush was complete and beautiful. The forest wasn't holding its breath. It was breathing with him. With all of them. With you. Because this stillness, this deep, golden quiet, isn't just part of the forest. It's something it shares freely with those who listen. And now, you've listened. You've heard it. And whether your eyes are closed or open, whether you're dreaming or simply still, you are in it. You are inside the quiet. And it is inside you. And like the trees, like the wind, like the stars that once watched from above, you are exactly where you are meant to be. And here, in this gentle embrace of time paused, the world felt soft and endless. Like a quiet ocean stretching beyond the horizon, where waves moved slowly, thoughtfully, and the sky met the earth without rush or worry. Oliver's breath flowed like the forest's own rhythm. Slow and steady, rising and falling in harmony with the land. His dreams carried him through silent groves and shimmering streams, places where light and shadow danced quietly. And every leaf held a story whispered just for him. Around him, the creatures of the forest remained wrapped in calm, their bodies still, their hearts peaceful. It was a moment held between the night and the day, a place where worries dissolved like morning mist, and only softness remained. The trees whispered their lullabies one last time, their voices gentle and warm, singing the forest to rest as the world awaited the dawn. And as the dream deepened, Oliver's eyes closed a little more, his smile soft and serene, because in this sacred space, there was nothing to do, nowhere to go, only the quiet comfort of being held safe, held loved, held whole. The warmth of the morning sun began to gently fill the clearing, but the air remained soft, like a tender hug from the earth itself. Oliver felt it too, a quiet energy, calm and steady, that wrapped around him like a familiar blanket. In this place, the world was wide and slow, where even the smallest breath was a gift, and every moment stretched softly, like the petals of a blooming flower. His friends lay close by, peaceful and still, each wrapped in their own gentle dreams. Above them, the leaves shimmered with light, and the wind hummed a soothing tune, carrying the stories of the forest far and wide. This was the heart of the woods, a place where time stood still, and peace was the only sound. And here, deep in the quiet, Oliver dreamed on, held safe by the whispering woods, wrapped in the endless embrace of the forest's calm. And as the light grew warmer, spreading slowly through the forest, a delicate peace settled over every branch and leaf. The moss beneath Oliver felt like the softest pillow, cradling him gently, as if the earth itself was singing a lullaby. Every breath he took was calm and slow, carrying with it the quiet rhythm of the woods. A song older than time, steady and true. The gentle rustling of leaves whispered secrets only the forest knew, while distant birds prepared to greet the day with their first songs. Yet even as the world around began to stir, the clearing where Oliver rested held on to its stillness. A sacred space between night and day, dream and waking. Here, peace was a living thing, breathing softly in the cool morning air, inviting all who entered to rest, to breathe, to be. And so Oliver dreamed on, wrapped in the warm embrace of the forest's heart, held by its endless calm. safe and serene. The sun's gentle rays began to stretch further, slipping through the canopy like warm fingers caressing the forest floor. Oliver stirred slightly in his mossy bed, his dreams shifting softly like leaves caught in a breeze. Around him, the forest breathed quietly, each creature held in the same calm embrace. From the tiniest insect beneath a leaf, to the tallest tree reaching toward the sky, the soft chorus of morning sounds began to rise. A bird's distant call, the rustle of small paws on fallen leaves, the gentle trickle of a stream winding through the woods. But here, in this special clearing, the quiet lingered, a sanctuary of stillness and rest. Oliver's heart beat in time with the forest, steady and slow, carrying with it the peace of the whispering woods. And as the day slowly unfolded beyond the trees, he remained wrapped in the gentle cocoon of dreams, held safe by the forest's endless calm. The forest around Oliver began to glow softly with the warmth of morning light. But the clearing where he lay remained wrapped in a gentle hush. The air smelled of fresh pine and earth, and the quiet rustle of leaves whispered like a secret lullaby. Oliver's breath was steady and calm, rising and falling in time with the rhythm of the woods. Nearby, Willow stirred in her nest, stretching her tiny paws before settling back into peaceful sleep. Theo's gentle snores mingled with the distant song of birds waking from their rest. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something beautiful to happen. And in the stillness, a soft glow began to spread, not from the sun, but from the very heart of the forest itself. It was the light of peace, of rest, of dreams carried on the wind. And it wrapped around Oliver like a warm embrace. Here, in the whispering woods, time slowed, and every moment was filled with calm and comfort. Oliver dreamed on, held safe by the endless quiet of the forest, and the soft promise of a new day. And as the soft glow from the forest's heart spread gently through the clearing, the air seemed to hum with a quiet magic, a calm so deep, it felt like the very soul of the woods was breathing alongside Oliver. The tall trees stood like gentle guardians, their leaves shimmering softly as the light danced upon them. A delicate breeze drifted by, carrying the scent of wildflowers and fresh earth, wrapping the clearing in a tender, soothing embrace. Oliver's dreams floated like feathers, light and free, filled with images of sparkling streams, sun-dappled meadows, and the warm company of his forest friends. Around him, the creatures of the whispering woods remained in peaceful slumber, each one held safely within the forest's quiet arms. Even the tiniest leaves seemed to listen, still as a breath, still as a heartbeat, as the forest and all within it rested together in perfect harmony. And in this sacred moment, time softened and stretched, allowing the peace to settle fully, deep into the roots, the soil, the sky. The forest was alive with calm, and so was Oliver. The gentle hum of the forest wrapped around Oliver like a soft blanket, cradling him in a world where worries melted away and only peace remained. Sunlight filtered through the canopy in slow, golden streams, painting the forest floor with patterns of light and shadow, like a silent dance of nature's own making. Oliver dreamed of wandering through meadows where flowers whispered secrets, and streams sang lullabies as they wound their way over smooth stones. His friends moved softly in their dreams too. Willow scampered among the branches, Theo stretched beneath the tall pines, Luna prowled through moonlit glades. But here, in the heart of the forest, time stood still. The moment stretched out like a warm sigh, inviting every breath to slow and deepen. The forest held its breath, wrapped in golden quiet, and Oliver lay nestled safely in its embrace. No rush, no noise, only calm. And as the soft breeze carried the scent of pine and earth, the whispering woods seemed to hum a single gentle truth. You are safe. You are held. You are home. And as the soft whisper of the breeze moved gently through the trees, it carried a message of peace to every corner of the forest. The leaves shimmered quietly, their gentle rustling like a lullaby sung just for Oliver and his friends. The sunlight warmed the earth beneath them, But the air remained cool and soothing, a perfect balance. Like a tender embrace between night and day. In his dream, Oliver wandered to a quiet stream. Its waters clear and slow, reflecting the sky like a mirror. He dipped his paw into the cool flow, feeling the gentle current wrap around him, washing away any worries, any rush, any noise from the waking world. Nearby, the flowers swayed softly, nodding as if to say, "Rest here, little one. You are safe." The forest seemed to breathe with him, slow, steady, and full of calm. And in this sacred space between waking and dreaming, Oliver's heart beat in perfect harmony with the whispering woods. The peace wrapped around him like a warm blanket, holding him safe through the long, golden stillness. The shadows of the trees stretched long and soft across the forest floor, blending with the patches of warm sunlight to create a gentle mosaic of light and shade. Oliver lay quietly, his breath slow and even, feeling the rhythm of the forest pulsing through the earth beneath him. Around him, the world was filled with quiet sounds. The distant chirp of crickets waking, the soft flutter of a bird settling on a branch, and the gentle trickle of water over smooth stones. These sounds were like a gentle song, sung just for him and the creatures who rested nearby. Oliver's dreams carried him to a place where the sky was painted with soft colors, pink, lavender, and gold, and where the breeze was warm and sweet, carrying the scent of wildflowers. In this dream, he wandered freely, his paws touching soft moss and cool water, his heart light and free. The forest held him close, wrapping him in its timeless calm and quiet strength. And as the day slowly unfolded around him, Oliver rested on, cradled by the whispering woods, safe, peaceful, and loved. The gentle warmth of the sun continued to spread through the forest, touching every leaf, every branch, and every soft patch of moss with a golden glow. Oliver's breathing remained slow and steady, in perfect rhythm with the heart of the woods around him. The quiet sounds of the forest filled the air, a gentle rustle of leaves, the soft call of a bird greeting the morning, and the faint babble of a nearby stream weaving its way through the trees. Oliver dreamed of a place where the trees sang softly, their leaves shimmering like tiny bells in the breeze. He imagined running through fields of wildflowers, feeling the cool grass beneath his paws, and basking in the gentle sunlight that warmed his fur. His friends were there too, sharing the calm and joy of this peaceful place. Willow chasing butterflies, Theo rolling in the soft grass, Luna exploring hidden paths lined with blooming flowers. The forest held them all in a gentle embrace, a sanctuary of quiet and rest where time seemed to stand still. And as the day slowly unfolded beyond the trees, Oliver remained wrapped in the soft cocoon of dreams and peace, held safely by the whispering woods. The soft light of the morning sun filtered gently through the branches, casting a warm, golden glow over the peaceful forest clearing. Oliver stirred slightly, still wrapped in the quiet embrace of his dreams. His breath moved slowly, matching the gentle rhythm of the woods around him. The forest was alive with soft sounds, the distant chirping of birds, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, and the steady murmur of the stream flowing nearby. Each sound was like a soft song, woven together to create a lullaby for all who lived within the trees. In his dream, Oliver wandered beneath tall, ancient trees, their leaves whispering secrets of the forest's long and gentle history. He felt the cool moss beneath his paws and the warm sunlight on his fur. And he knew that here, in this quiet place, he was safe and loved. Around him, the animals of the forest moved slowly, their movements calm and unhurried, each one carrying the peace of the woods in their hearts. The forest held them all in a soft, comforting embrace, a place where dreams could drift gently and rest could deepen. And as the day stretched on outside the clearing, Oliver remained wrapped in the tender stillness of the whispering woods, held safe by the endless calm of the forest's heart. The gentle sway of the branches overhead created a soft rhythm, like the slow beating of a giant heart, steady and calm. Oliver's dreams floated like clouds drifting across a clear sky, filled with memories of sunlit meadows and cool, shaded streams. The animals around him, Willow, Theo, Luna, and others, rested peacefully, each wrapped in the forest's warm embrace. A faint breeze carried the scent of pine and wildflowers, whispering through the leaves like a soothing melody. The light continued to deepen, turning from gold to a soft amber, painting the forest in colors that felt like a gentle hug. Oliver's chest rose and fell in quiet harmony with the woods, each breath a reminder that here, in this sacred place, he was safe, loved, and completely at peace. The forest held its stillness a little longer, a timeless moment suspended between dreams and waking, before slowly beginning to stir with the promise of a new day. But for now, in this perfect, golden stillness, the whispering woods and all its creatures rested, wrapped in the endless calm of the forest's heart. The gentle light began to stretch across the forest floor, painting soft patterns on the moss and leaves. Oliver lay nestled in his quiet burrow, his dreams drifting slowly like clouds on a gentle breeze. Around him, the forest held its breath, wrapped in the calm stillness that only moments like these can bring. The birds began to stir with delicate songs, their melodies weaving softly through the trees, like a lullaby carried on the morning air. The breeze whispered softly, rustling the leaves with a tender touch, and the stream nearby sang its gentle song over smooth stones. Oliver's heart beat in quiet rhythm with the woods, steady and slow, carrying the peace of the forest deep within him. And as the day slowly awoke beyond the trees, Oliver remained safe and still, held in the endless embrace of the whispering woods. The soft warmth of the sun wrapped gently around the forest, spilling golden light over every leaf and blade of grass. Oliver lay peacefully in his mossy bed, his breathing slow and steady, in perfect harmony with the quiet rhythm of the woods. Around him, the forest hummed softly, the faint rustle of small animals waking, the distant call of birds greeting the morning, and the gentle murmur of the stream weaving through the trees. Oliver dreamed of wandering through sunlit meadows, where wildflowers swayed in the breeze, and butterflies danced lightly among the petals. His friends moved softly in their dreams too. Willow scurried through the branches, Theo stretched lazily beneath the pines, and Luna prowled quietly among the shadows. The forest held them all in a tender embrace, a sanctuary of calm and rest, where time seemed to pause and peace was endless. And as the day stretched on beyond the trees, Oliver remained wrapped in the soft cocoon of dreams and stillness, held safe by the whispering woods. As the golden light of morning gently warmed the whispering woods, the peaceful stillness slowly began to blend with the promise of a new day. Oliver and his friends remained wrapped in calm, their dreams soft and deep, held safely by the forest's endless embrace. The trees stood tall and silent, guardians of this quiet magic, while the gentle breeze carried a soft farewell through the leaves. And now, as your journey through the whispering woods comes to a close, remember that this peaceful place is always within you, a quiet refuge you can return to whenever you need calm, comfort, or rest. Thank you for sharing this moment of stillness and peace. May your dreams be gentle, your heart be light, and your days be filled with the calm beauty of the forest. Good night, and sleep well.